Hey everyone, welcome back. I'm Michael, and we're going to be getting right back into some more Reddit stories. If you enjoy the video, make sure to leave a like and subscribe. Now, without further ado, let's begin. This story was posted by a user named Upper Class Habits in the Relationship Advice subreddit. The post is titled, "My boyfriend is going away for all of Memorial Day weekend to spend time with his friend in a cabin alone. I'm looking for advice on a triggering situation that feels all too familiar. My ex and I started as friends at work and our relationship was great. He was my best friend. But issues came up with his longtime female friends. They would say, 'I love you,' sit on each other's laps, and touch each other in ways I felt were inappropriate. Despite expressing my discomfort and asking him to set boundaries, he couldn't, so I messaged the women myself out of frustration, which blew up the situation. Fast forward, my current boyfriend and I also started as close work friends and developed a strong mutual relationship. We've been friends for 8 months and officially dating for 4 months. He's a kind, giving person and sees serving others as part of his faith, which I admire. But a situation with his female friend, Olivia, is bringing back those same feelings of being second. Olivia, who lives in another state and knows about me, invited herself for his birthday weekend this Memorial Day weekend and booked a cabin just for the two of them. She's shown no interest in meeting me, and though I was initially supportive, I now feel excluded and confused. He said multiple times that he doesn't even want to go, that he feels trapped, suspects she might have romantic feelings, and wouldn't normally hang out with her this long, but he's going anyway because he feels bad. She has chronic health issues and recently lost her dog. I'm angry and sad. I don't expect to be the center of anyone's universe, but I can't understand why he'd prioritize someone he doesn't even seem close to over me, especially when I've been clear about how this impacts me. I want to be understanding and supportive, but I also want to feel respected and prioritized. How do I approach this without trying to control the situation or sacrificing my own emotional well-being?" Update. I offered potential solutions and compromises. I was clear about exactly what was bothering me and that I would never put him in this position. I told him he would be incredibly hurt, and rightfully so if I did this to him. I told him he could decide for himself what he wanted to do, and I told him what I wouldn't tolerate from a partner. He acknowledged and agreed that everything I was saying was true. Then he went because he wants to get out of the habit of being so flaky and made a commitment, so he has to go. I texted him that I'll always love him as a friend, like I told him from the very beginning. Now I'm not even sure I can or want to. Love is a choice. The opposite of love is indifference, and he's all but told me he's indifferent to me both as a partner and as a friend. Thanks for the tough love, Reddit. I'd rather be angry at him, at myself for not seeing this coming, than be sad while he feels absolutely nothing. Edit to add, yes, I ended it. I can't even think about him or the situation without being angry. I look forward to when the anger turns to indifference. Persimmon Basket said he wanted her to end it because he was too chicken, so he forced her hand. She's well rid of him. To this, S. Jampin said he made sure it was clear that she had broken up with him, so he could be with his friend without having a guilty conscience. He wants the right to pretend he didn't do anything wrong. Icebin Kick said this absolute flannel of a man either loves the attention from Olivia or has the emotional maturity of an overly milky cup of tea. Either way, the OP is much better off without him. I'm Not Creepy said, sometimes people disrespect boundaries, and sometimes you can disrespect your own boundaries by ignoring the things that you know make you uncomfortable. I'm glad the OP knew where her line was drawn and walked away. This next post was made in the AIO subreddit by a user named Rude Winter. The post is titled, "I called off my wedding after my fiance got drunk, put on my wedding dress, and had an accident in it." This sounds completely ridiculous, but it really happened, and I can't stop thinking about it. Some people are telling me I completely overreacted, and I'm starting to question myself. I'm 28 and was supposed to get married last weekend to my fiance Nick, who is 30. We've been together for 4 years. He's funny and a little impulsive, but I always thought he had good judgment. He drinks socially, but I've never seen him totally out of control until now. The night before our wedding, I stayed at home with my sister and 2 of my bridesmaids for a relaxed night. Nick went out with his groomsmen. I expected him to come home tipsy at most. At around 1:30 in the morning, he came home absolutely wasted, slurring, stumbling, sweaty. I was brushing my teeth when I heard him banging around in the guest room. When I went to check, I saw him dragging my wedding dress out of the closet. I asked what he was doing, and he just laughed and said he wanted to see how it felt to be the bride. I told him to put it back and not to touch it, but he was not listening at all. Right in front of me, he stripped down completely and started putting on the dress. He could barely get it over his body and kept tripping over the train. I didn't know what to say. Then he dropped to the floor in the dress, still laughing. Then he went quiet, looked up at me with a panicked face, and said, "Oh no." A few seconds later, he had an accident, diarrhea. It soaked through the back of the dress and onto the carpet. The smell was immediate and overwhelming. I stood there in shock while he started crying and tried to get out of the dress, which only made more of a mess. It was all over the fabric, the floor, and him. I told him to get in the shower and I left. I drove straight to my mom's house and didn't take any of his calls. The next morning, I called off the wedding. Since then, Nick has apologized over and over. He said he blacked out and barely remembers what happened. His family is furious with me and says I'm throwing away a great relationship over a drunken mistake. Some of my friends agree and think I should have postponed instead of canceling. Even my maid of honor said I might be letting emotions take over and that it wasn't unforgivable. But I feel like something broke that night. I didn't just feel disgusted, I felt disrespected. The dress wasn't just expensive, it was important to me. It symbolized something. I cannot unsee what happened. I can't laugh about it or move on like it's just one bad night. I don't know how to look at him in the same way. Am I overreacting for calling off the wedding? Update. First off, thank you to everyone who responded. I didn't expect the level of attention my post got, and honestly, reading the replies made me feel less alone. Some people told me I was right to call it off. Others said it was a terrible mistake, but not unforgivable. Both sides helped me see the situation more clearly. I spoke to Nick this morning, not for closure, not for a big emotional talk, just to return some things and check in about logistics since everything's been canceled. But we ended up sitting down and talking for over an hour. He apologized again, sincerely. He didn't try to defend himself or shift blame. He told me he didn't remember everything clearly, but knows he came home wasted, saw the dress, and in his words, thought it would be funny or meaningful or something. He didn't mean to ruin the dress, he didn't mean to humiliate me, but he did, and he knows that. He said he's ashamed of what happened and of how out of control he let himself get. He also admitted this wasn't the first time his drinking led to something bad. He said this was a wake-up call and that he's going to stop drinking entirely. I didn't even know he had a problem. The thing is, I still care about him. We were supposed to get married. I didn't walk away from someone I didn't love. But something inside me cracked that night, and it hasn't healed. I don't know if it will. I know it sounds superficial to some people, but for me, it was a symbol of our future, of the person I thought I was marrying, and watching him defile it in that state, whether on purpose or by accident, changed something. I've been trying to figure out if that one night should be the end of 4 years together, but it's not really just that one night, is it? It's what it revealed, about how he handles stress, about how far he let himself go, about how I felt standing in that room, watching someone I loved become almost unrecognizable. I haven't made a final decision yet. Technically, the wedding is still canceled, but the relationship isn't officially over. We're on a kind of emotional pause, I guess. He says he wants to make things right, and maybe he will. Maybe with time, I'll want to try again. But right now, I still feel like I'm grieving something that ended, and I don't know if I'm ready to build it back from scratch, so I guess I'm now asking, am I overreacting if I walk away from this completely? Breakfast Lost said right out of the gate, "What the fuck?" Master Potato said, "Well, the poop dress is definitely up there with the cum dress. Funny how it's always the wedding dress." To this hopeful, Kitty said, "It's most women's most expensive item of clothing they will ever own. It's something a lot of girls have imagined since they knew what weddings were. It's a symbol of moving on to the next stage in life. I know it's just a dress, but it holds a lot of meaning to brides. There's a reason they pay a lot of money to get it cleaned and preserved in a box you can't ever open. I was never even a wedding dreamer, and I'll never get rid of my dress. Wedding dresses are a unique, deeply personal item. The only thing I have ever had tailored to my exact measurements is my wedding dress. If someone were to treat something that special, unique, and meaningful with no respect, it would be heartbreaking. He could have picked any other dress from her closet and it wouldn't have been a huge deal. But he ignored her pleading and then wrecked something she spent months choosing, waiting for, and getting altered. He didn't just ruin this wedding, he stained her next marriage. The excitement of shopping for a wedding dress is lessened. She had seen herself as a bride in that dress, and now she can't ever get another one in that style. It's been ruined in her mind. Her mother or best friend was there for the joy of finding the one. She can't repeat that feeling ever again. Anyone who ruins a wedding dress is just cruel. Either they don't respect the woman enough to care about damaging something so special, or they are intentionally trying to wreck something that can't be replicated. It's just so unnecessarily mean and rude. This final post was made by a throwaway account in the relationship advice subreddit. The post is titled, "I told my GF that she is not a trophy wife or status symbol and that we are similar in attractiveness. She thinks I'm calling her old and ugly." A bit of background, my girlfriend and I are 30 and 31 respectively. We have been dating for about a year. I work as a high-level engineer at a good firm, and my girlfriend works as a payroll specialist at a good firm too. I make significantly more than her, 3 times as much. Things were good in our relationship until I showed her my retirement savings. She now doesn't see the point of working and has started framing our relationship around that. She sees herself as the beautiful one and me as the nerdy engineer who was lucky to have her. Before, when we met, she was all about making it her own way, eventually starting her own company with her sister in sourcing and recruiting. But now she jokes about driving a Range Rover, wearing Lululemon, and going to yoga. We were having a discussion again about this trophy wife stuff. She brought up that I was nerdy back in the day while she was very popular. I told her she is not a trophy wife. That yes, she is attractive, but it's not a huge difference between us. I told her that if it had been the case that I met her when she was 22 and I was my current age, then sure, but she isn't 22 anymore. After I said that, she just started crying like crazy. She started saying that I think of her as ugly and used up, that her best years are behind her. She just told me that if I am not happy to be with her, why am I even here? She said to stop wasting her time. I tried to talk to her, but she was in no state for a conversation. I don't know what to say. For me, I just wanted to say that I think we are of similar attractiveness. I don't think anyone who sees us turns their head and thinks, "Oh, she is with him because of money," or "Damn, he is so lucky to be with her." I think it's mutual. She was the one who, if anything, went after my attractiveness first. What should I do? I like the fact that we both work, and I don't want to change that dynamic. I don't want her to think she is above me or that I am so lucky to have her. I want her to think of us as equals, and in my attempt to do that, I hurt her feelings. What's the next move? Update. Thank you all for sharing your responses. I tried my best to read through them all and saw a lot of interesting perspectives. My only gripe is that many posts ignored a lot of relevant information. I had some long DMs with people in similar situations, which were super helpful. A couple of things I want to add. To the people who said my girlfriend was a gold digger, she really climbed her own way from university to where she is now and has a good work ethic. This is not just someone who has relied on others their whole life. Also, to the people who said my girlfriend lost motivation after seeing my wealth, she has dated guys who made more than me. Overall, I wanted my girlfriend to feel special, that she is the most beautiful woman in the world. But I don't like that she is above me, that she is on a pedestal, and that I am this inferior engineer. We had a discussion and honestly, things just got worse. I tried to talk to her, but she kept bringing up the worst things I said to her without any context of her basically calling me ugly. She also brought up that my dad was awkward as hell. She brought up my comment about saying that she would be a trophy wife at 22 but not at 30. She went on to say that all the engineers she has met have a chip on their shoulder for not getting laid when they were in college. She said that bitterness is coming out, thinking they are entitled to a hot young girlfriend because they couldn't date them in college. She said that is why I made that comment, to tear her down. I got frustrated and said, yeah, I agree. I never was able to get the hot girl in college, and even with all the money I make, I still can't get them now, so unfortunately I have to go secondhand and with a couple of wrinkles. That just set things off, and she called me a misogynist for calling her secondhand. She said I treated her like a used car. I'm pretty sure when she tells her friends about our fight, that's what she will say. I don't know what to say. It was ridiculous. She started this whole thing that I can't get the girls I supposedly really want. She is the one making this whole dating thing into haves and have-nots. So if you want that analogy, I will play that analogy too. I just agreed with it and now I'm the bad guy. I don't know what to do. She will say 10 bad things about me, that I'm ugly and that I'm lucky to be with her. But when I respond, she blows up and storms out. I don't know what the hell to do. We've had fights before, but this just seems impossible. We had decent communication before, but now it's trash. I don't know what to do. I am more than open to a talk without putting each other down, but she really wants me to be in some subservient position. I don't know, maybe in her past relationships, she had that power over guys where they were like, oh my god, I'm dating someone so attractive, but I'm not okay with that. I don't know what she wants at this point. It seems like she is looking for a reason to break up. I know some people are saying break up, but I was really hoping to settle down soon. I hate the idea of starting from scratch all over again in dating. We had so many amazing times together and a good idea of the future. I was excited, someone beautiful and ambitious, and I got along with her well. Now this... 2 months ago, we were talking about rings, how many people we would have at our wedding, whether we would send our kids to private school or not. Please send me your analysis of the situation. If there is something from the female perspective I don't understand, please tell me. I don't want to let this go without putting in my all, but I am not going to be in a subservient position. What should I do? How can I handle this properly? Hawkmon Best Boy said, I will never understand people who insult someone's appearance and then get upset when the favor is returned. To this, Femme Malin said, right, I read the first post and my immediate thought was, yikes buddy, you just found out your girlfriend thinks you're ugly. If you say you're equally attractive and she takes that as you calling her ugly. I'm just mean said, at least he didn't marry her. Thank you so much for making it to the end of the video, and thank you also to partner of the channel, Gamersupps. Use code DLAM to support the channel and get 10% off of your purchase, link in the description. I'm sure many of you like me have a hankering for daily caffeine, so go check them out. Lately, I've been a big fan of Titty Milk and Acid Rain, but they've got dozens of other flavors for y'all to try out. Anyway, thanks again for reaching the end, and I hope you all have an amazing passage of the next 24 hours.